One, I am so proud of our players, who they are as men, for how they represented this university, for how they represented their families, for how they fought for one another. And I'm just so thankful to be around those guys. I've always felt that good players and good teams teach me more than I ever have the opportunity to teach them, and that was obviously the case this year. Um, the game was losing is totally my fault. I've gotten 3 technical fouls, including tonight's, in my entire career, and to get a technical and when you lose by 2, um, it's a tough pill to swallow.
All right, we're ready to take questions. Once again, if you have a question for Coach, please use the raise hand function. And when you're called upon, please give your name and affiliation. We're going to start with Pat 40. Go ahead, Pat.
Paul, the last play, you guys got a great look. Could you please describe what you were hoping for and then what you saw as the play unfolded?
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, putting the ball in Max's hands and allow him to make a decision. We gave him a pass option and we gave him a dribble option. And to his credit, he's super bright. He's just a terrific young man, picks up things really quickly, and understood, had great court awareness, had great selection on the shot, and unfortunately it didn't go in.
Okay, next we're going to go with Caden McFarland. Caden, go ahead. Caden, are you there? Okay, we're going to not go with Caden. We will go with Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. This is Daniel Rodriguez with This League with Daniel. Last time we spoke was in September. We were discussing if there even was going to be a season amid maybe all the cancellations in sports. How would you describe that point to where you took your team going to the Sweet 16, winning the conference tournament?
Yeah, I mean, huge credit to the NCAA and the devotion and the commitment that it took in order to pull this tournament off. And everything has been fantastic. Just how we've been treated, the opportunity for your players to experience March Madness is great. And it's a huge credit to the people at the NCAA in order to make this happen this year, given the current conditions of COVID.
Our next question is going to come from Austin Montgomery. Austin, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to ask about your guys' toughness on the defensive end. You guys held Moses Moody to 420 shooting and held them to 37% from the field and 11% from 3. Can you just kind of discuss the defensive effort and how were you guys able to slow down Arkansas today?
You're breaking up, so I couldn't hear all of your question. I mean, defensively, I thought we were solid. I didn't think we were great, but there's a time and a place to go back and look at that, but it's not right now.
Once again, a reminder, when you ask your question, please give your name and your affiliation. Please note that Coach cannot see you, nor does he see a list of people who are on this call. So give your name and your affiliation. We're going to go with Carter Hill next. Carter, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach. Carter Hill with Fifth Quarter. Congratulations on a fantastic season. You guys were fun to watch. You talked about that last play earlier on. Did you think when Max put up that shot that it was going in when he released it?
Yes.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Kelly Hines. Kelly, go ahead.
This is Kelly Hines from the Tulsa World. Paul, how do you kind of balance the emotion behind this? You know, obviously disappointed with the outcome, but the pride that you have for what you guys did this season.
Yeah, I think what you're proud of is your players, you know. I mean, you're obviously disappointed in a game, but you're proud of your players and just how they rally and how they fight. And and going through the ups and downs that a year like this brings, especially with COVID, and so you're just, what I'm most proud of is one, who they are as people, but two, their resiliency throughout the course of the year. And I think anytime that you're around a group of young men like that, you're really sad when it ends. And so this will linger with me for a while. Usually, postseason depression, if you talk to coaches, is real. And this stuff takes a while in order to get over. But I'm so proud of who they are as men.
Our next question is going to come from Chris DiMaria. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Chris DiMaria from KGRH here in Tulsa. Man, this was an incredible run, one that will go down in history at ORU. What do you think this meant to the school and the alums, all the kids at the Mabee Center right now? What do you think this run meant to everybody back home?
Sure. I mean, I've gotten emails and letters and text messages from people all over the world. And I'll tell you that what I believe the game of basketball does when you're cheering for a team that ends up winning is it brings joy, right? People remember how you make them feel. And that's why it's important that you make people feel, regardless of who they are, you make them feel well. I'm a big believer that people who are rude to the waiter are really rude people. And people who can treat others kindly are going to do it in all facets. So I say all of that to say, I mean, the ones that always grab me are the little kids and the people who are in hospitals, and they say, man, I was having a bad day, and then I watched your guys fight. And because of that, put a smile on my face, and the next day I had an extra jump in my step, and I was a little bit quicker in order to do things. And I think that's what sports provide, and you can't lose sight of that what's happening here, who you are internally is going to get on display externally. And so it's important that we represent ourselves well, and our guys have done that.
Our next question is listed as Gugium 2009. So I would ask that you give your name and your affiliation before asking your question. Go ahead.
That's another computer thing signed in. Sorry, but this is Morgan Beers from K2L in Tulsa. Coach, you were talking the other day about how you got to win from inside, win from within. You kind of just touched on it there at the end. Where does this team rank for you, even in this loss, not really even counting this loss, just as a team that you've had as men, as guys that you've been able to teach and coach in your career?
Yeah, I'll try to say this without crying, but it's my favorite team ever. They mean a lot to me.
We have time for one or two more questions if there are any. Right now, I do not see any. If you have a question for Coach, please use the raise hand function. We're going to go back. Okay, we do have a question. We're going to go back to Austin Montgomery. Austin, go ahead.
Coach, it's Austin Montgomery from Mid-Major Madness. Can you just talk about Max had just one of those insane performances this entire March run? Can you just talk about what he means to the program and how like what joy it is to coach him during this time?
I don't think it's insane to us. I mean, it may be insane to others, but it's actually not insane to us. I'm very much aware of his work ethic. I'm very much aware of his character. I'm very much aware of his diligence. And this may be an eye-opener to the outside, and Max deserves every bit of it. But he's such a high-character young man. And what was on display is what I've been fortunate to see since he arrived on campus, even before that. But he has absolutely wonderful parents. He has wonderful siblings, and he's supported from us and from obviously his family. And so it's not insane to anybody in our locker room.
Okay, we're going to take two more questions. We're going to go with Daniel Rodriguez and then Eric Olson, but we're going to start with Daniel. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hey, Coach. I just simply wanted to ask, how will you and the team remember this entire run, maybe 10, 15, 20 years down the line, looking back on it?
Yeah, I don't know that answer, Daniel. You know, I'm proud, but then you always think that you're capable of so much more. And not that I'm disappointed in this group at all, but you always think that, you know, a shot here, a shot there, if Coach Mills doesn't get a technical foul, just how different this stuff could play out. So I'll live with the technical foul for a minute, and that'll help me down the road. But yeah, it's hard to put in perspective just what's going to happen 10, 15, 20 years from now.
And our last question is from Eric Olson. Eric, go ahead.
Yes, Coach, what was it the offensive foul that you got the technical over, and what did you say to get the technical?
One, I don't curse, so I never cursed. There was a play earlier where Justin Smith ran over one of our guys, Kevin O'Banner, and lowered the shoulder, and it was a no call. And so when we got the same call, I just said, that's the same call. That's the same call. And they said, well, you can't yell. And in my mind, it's the only way that you can overcome the noise. You have to raise your voice. And I just told them, it's the same call. And that was it. And they gave me a technical foul.